that, Haas, I think they like Nico. Nico's their new favorite. Magnussen was their favorite the year before. Like Magnussen comes out of retirement, blows his teammate off. Then Nico comes out of retirement, blows Magnussen off. So I think Nico's the favorite. Both of them are kind of the same, like just drivers after a gap. But I think they like Nico now just because he's performing better. What do you think?
Yeah. And brownie points if you tell me who's going to be retained in Aston Martin.
Yeah, I think both of them are, but Aston Martin is another team that if they let Stroll go, like they could give serious competition to Ferrari, right? Like that's
Signed already for one more year.
yeah, I think it's unofficial. Like I didn't see like an official statement anywhere. I checked the socials, but obviously, like if Daddy's funding Aston Martin, like it, yeah, Stroll's going to be around. I want Stroll to be better because I thought as a junior driver he was really good, but I think when he got to F1, he kind of just lost his spark, not as good, and I feel like we see that with a lot of junior drivers because just F1 is so competitive. Like it is, everybody there is like fighting to be world champion, So, um, yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go with Stroll. They're gonna retain Stroll. That's what I'm gonna say. Well, that's my hot take. What do you think?
Has to be retaining Fernando Alonso. He is so much better than Stroll, and that man is on his way to get the Triple Crown of Motorsport. He's won the MotoGP. He's an two-time F1 world champion, and he's won Le Mans in both 2018 and 19.
I did not know that. That's a fun fact. But honestly, if they're giving up wins to keep Stroll in this season, I don't think Aston Martin cares about, Nando's a legend, but we all know where Aston Martin's interests are, right? So I think that's what they would keep. And the last but definitely not least, AlphaTauri.
That is tough. Right now, but they have not still re-signed him. I don't even know why.
Dude, I genuinely think Red Bull went from being the toxic team to AlphaTauri now being the toxic team. They have no driver allegiance. It's supposed to be a junior team, feeder program of junior drivers, but I think Red Bull have decimated their junior program. And it started off with Kvyat, it started off with Gasly, started with Albon. After that, they've kind of just been downhill. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Given that they've had 4 drivers this season with Danny, Yuki, Nick DeVries, and now Liam Lawson, and they have just 3 points on the table. Also, like they're keeping Yuki to everyone else. But huge shout out to Liam Lawson. It is not easy giving your debut. That is one of the hardest circuits, and he driven really well in both Spa and Monza. I think he might be the next Oscar Piastri. Who knows?
Oh wow, that's a huge compliment for Lawson. I haven't followed too much of Lawson in his junior career, but I do think he was an impressive driver. Like he kept it together and finished. So let's really go over the performance of rookies because the team that has spots that's unsigned is 2 seats in AlphaTauri and 1 at Williams. So let's start off with Williams, right? What did you think about Sargent? Do you just think he's been dull, lackluster, apart from just the numbers in his performance? Like, how do you think his whole F1 situation played out?
I think the only reason he's on the grid is because he's American and there's a huge growing audience in the US. So I feel like he's only there for that.
No, I feel like
he have talent. I don't know. I just didn't see that charm from him the way I saw it in Oscar.
True. Like with Oscar, even though he's dull as a person or he's much more quiet, his driving is charismatic, Like there's something magical about the way he drives, and there's just that air of hype around him, which is genuine. But the thing with Sargent is I don't think Williams cares that much for marketability over just straight wins, right? I was doing some research on Sargent, and I found out they backed him up instead of Mick Schumacher when Mick was done with Haas because he was one of their own. They wanted their junior driver program to come up. And I don't know, have you been harsh with judging the rookies this year, or have the rookies not lived up to the expectation?
I think we've definitely been harsh in judging the rookies. I think like a year before, everyone was a lot more lenient. But I feel like with the mid-year sack of Nick DeVries,
Yeah.
this made every situation on the paddock a lot trickier. Like there were too many seats and switches happening this year that the rookies were under tremendous pressure to just keep their seat even.
True, that's true. Because like Joe Guan Yu, great rookie. I thought there's something special about him, but Sargent and Nick DeVries, I didn't feel anything. So as much as I like Nick, like it was a brutal sacking. I agree, but I'm happy that Danny is back. Well, obviously we have Lawson now, but even Liam Lawson, I feel like there's something about him too more than Nick DeVries that suits Alpha Tower. Like, you know, I can't explain what it is. If it's a vibe just because he's a junior driver, like Nick just felt like he didn't fit in.
No, we are just being so harsh on this man who got half a season to prove himself. Let's cut some slack. It was his dream to drive an F1, and like halfway through the season, they cut him. That was ridiculous, and that was too harsh. No one ever deserves that. Logan should have been cut like race one in that
Yeah,
situation.
I guess that's fair. Like, Nick, if you're watching this, we love you and we're sorry for what happened. But think about it though. Nick has been so loyal to Mercedes. Williams could have gone for them, but no, they just went for Logan instead. Like, I think Nick is more experienced and better than Logan, right? Like, Williams could have taken.
Didn't have a seat for the grid next year, not yet.
No, they're waiting. So that's the next question. Who is Williams going to take? What are your thoughts on that?
It's definitely not Mick Schumacher. I think this is the last of Mick we're going to see on the grid, despite Uncle's crazy comments about how Sergio has been underperforming. It was just so hilarious to see Helmut Marko slap back, saying he hopes that Ralph is not insinuating that they take Red Bull.
You see, I think we gotta take a minute here to acknowledge Mick's situation and everybody else. Like, let me know if you agree with this. I love Mick, great guy, decent driver, and as much as it sucks to have such a big name on your back as this shadow that's just hard to live up to, I think it's helped Mick more than not helped him. Like, I personally think he's with Mercedes, not because he's a great driver. I think Mercedes just has a soft spot for Schumacher being German. Sorry, Mick. Like, I think you're good, but I don't know if you're like good enough. And I agree too. I think this will be the last we'll see him, because I'm actually nervous as a Mercedes fan. If something were to happen to our drivers, touch wood, nothing ever would. But if it did, I don't know how Mick would do. I feel like that would expose him big time. Like, let me know your thoughts. That might be a bit controversial to say, but I seriously don't. Like, I hope he does well. But if he doesn't, like, I'm nervous. Like, I was nervous for Danny Rick to be back in AlphaTauri. That's how I'm nervous about Nick driving for Mercedes. What are your thoughts?
No, I totally feel you about your Nick purely based on his stats, but I think I'm too biased because over the summer break I saw the Schumacher documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
And Mick Schumacher literally said he would give up everything just to have a conversation with his dad.
Yeah, that was sad.
Pretty vested in the Schumacher family, so I'm gonna always be team Schumacher.
So yeah, this has been a fun chat so far. But let's get into the WAGs part, because after all, we are called the Future WAG podcast.
So one bad realization I had during summer break, and I can't believe these words out of my mouth. Oh my god. Okay. I saw so many edits about the letter. So many edits. And God, good looking. Oh my god. Ah.
Oh no. I think I know where this is going.
If I had seen Arthur Leclerc first, would I have found Charles Leclerc this good looking?
Okay. Can I give you my thoughts on that as a non-Ferrari fan, right? I don't care. Like Carlos, he's my hubby. He's the handsome one, in my opinion. Charles, the whole world is obsessed with Charles. Like you're gonna fight every girl out there for Charles. And tell me if I'm wrong, and tell me what you guys think the same. Something happened to Charles Leclerc's face. Like I don't know if he grew up, like because he's so young, his face is still changing. His face like got bigger. Like I'm not sure what it is, but he's not as cute as he was because he was more baby faced before, and I think he's lost that. So definitely, Arthur Leclerc is in the running, in my opinion. So that's a valid thought. I don't know if he's still as good.
What? This is a what if situation, but I saw Charles Leclerc first, so he's going to be the love of my life to the day I die.
Yeah, and Charles honestly has such a cute personality. We're yet to hear about Arthur Leclerc because we don't know too much about him. But Charles, like, he's so chaotic in all the Ferrari interviews. Like, it's hard not to love it. Like, if he won 10 races in a row, I would be very, very elite. Not that I am not from X, but I'd just be more for Charles, even though I'm not a Charles fan because that's how lovable he is. But yeah.
Speaking about Charles Leclerc, his ex-girlfriend, Charlotte Sain, just posted a picture with a girl who looks exactly like Alex. Like, trust me, she knew what she was doing by making that.
Man. Oh man, that whole situation is interesting, hey? Like, he's dating Charlotte. I'm not like too into his love life, but he's dating this new girl. And I thought it was Charlotte. Don't they look alike? Like, tell me I'm not crazy. And what's crazier is like Charlotte was done and boom, she was on his lap riding a golf cart in the paddock like 1 week after. Like that was so quick to switch. Like, I don't know, do you have any tea on that aspect?
Yeah, and apparently all of his exes have been friends of each other. So he just dates within this circle of girlies who basically friends. And they look happy though. I see their pictures, like only love to you, Charles Leclerc. We love you. We ain't judging you, but
oh yeah, like I think they're from Monaco. It's just like a small group of people. But yeah, that's interesting on Charlotte's end because I feel like all of us, me included, not a Charlotte's fan, we got invested in Charlotte, and then boom, he drops her. Hey, so it is what it is. But yeah, they look eerily alike, and I know everybody else thinks the same. So let us know what your thoughts are in the comments, and we'd appreciate knowing that we're not the only delusional ones out here.
For the last segment, a stupid question, as always. Taru, if you had to kill, marry, and hook up with someone on the grid, who would it be?
Oh, okay. This is an interesting one. Let's do hook up first, right? I would hook up with Carlos Sainz. He just looks, yeah, he's like a perfect mix of bad, good boy. Like that's what you need. Like you can have a wild time hook up with him. You can take him home to your parents, but I just don't think he'd ever commit to it, right? So you got to be careful, Carlos. Like I've heard that he's like a player, and rightfully so. Like he's a very handsome guy, and I think everybody would want to be with him.
Do you think he and Izzat ended because he was not ready to commit?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I read some stuff on Reddit, but I don't know how reliable Reddit is. And as much as we like to think we know these drivers, we don't really know what happens behind the scene. Marry, honestly, I want to say I want to marry Lewis, but I'm going to go with Danny Rick. I think he is the perfect, like, real hubby. You know what I mean? Like, him and Heidi, like, even with the age gap, I still think they work. Like, I feel like Danny Rick is the kind of guy who would work with anybody. So I'd marry Danny Rick. He'd make me laugh.
He's the type to commit. That's what I've seen.
Yeah, he's the type to commit. And I would just love listening to his Australian accent. Like, I love his accent and his smile. So I'd marry Danny Rick. Kill, man, that's a hard one. So we're talking currently on the grid.
Or like instead of kill, we can just say remove from grid.
Remove from grid. Honestly, I'd say Stroll. Let's remove Stroll. I think he has a great life. He has a good girlfriend, but it's been hard to get to know Stroll. He's been around for so long, and I feel like I don't know what his fan base is like or what Stroll's connections are. Like, do you know? So that's why I'd remove him. He seems irrelevant.
If that was a stupid mistake, you literally removed the billionaire off the grid.
Yeah. Hey, we have another one though. Lando. I just found out he's a billionaire from you recently. So
not that billionaire, daddy's rich, but I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. What about you? What are your kill, marry, and remove?
Obviously, Charles Leclerc. He's a family man, and so am I, a family girl.
Is he family man? I don't know. I think he's too young and he's out to have fun, bro. I'd be nervous about that.
Let the man have fun. He's just 26. Let's leave him alone. That's
okay, so you want him to come to you after he's had fun and you want to marry him when he's 30?
My second marriage. Who would I date? I was going to say Lando, but then I was like, wait, Danny Rick also sounds wonderful, so this is hard. Maybe Danny
Rick. I think Lando is
too young, so maybe Danny Rick for me. And what I'd remove from the grid, so I told you, I really don't care about Sergio Perez. I'm really sorry.
Oh, you're the for our man, Sergio. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. That's reason, but you girlies out there also let us know who you'd marry, date, and remove in the comments section below.
We'll see you next week after the Singapore GP.
Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed listening to our unsolicited thoughts. We're just two girlies talking everything F1, and we want you in the conversation as much as you guys want to be. So comment, let us know your thoughts, let us know what you want us to talk about. And yeah, we'll catch you next week, same time.